Hey there, it's Alexa. Welcome to the Wishbeads podcast. I have been thinking a lot lately about the holidays and all the things that are coming up. And so it's a funny thing, right? So, on one hand, you are so excited because it's fun. It's fun to celebrate family, it's fun to get together, it's fun to share special moments and have certain traditions, and all that is so important. And yet, there's this other habit that comes on, this sort of instinctual narrative inside your head that's like, oh, it's got to be a certain way, or I'm not going to remember everything. And it starts to like this low grade anxiety comes up about all the things, right? All the things that you want to do and accomplish end of the year, that sort of rush. So let's just step back for a moment, shall we? And really remember that we have the power to choose how we show up, how we engage, how we experience the holidays, and what really is important. What really is important. A great conversation with maybe, I'm going to see my nieces, for example. They're so busy in their young lives. They're all in their 20s. They're doing a lot of things. They don't live near me. And my intention is when I see them around the holidays is to really have great conversations with them, get to, hear what's going on in their lives, more so than running around trying to make every moment magical in some capacity, whatever that looks like for you or for me. Conversations, that's just something I've been thinking about. So, yeah, that's what we're going to do. The other thing that I've been wanting to share with you is I'm really excited to introduce you to today's guests. They are Teddy and Sonia Surge. Their organization is called the Sand Sisters, and they're doing incredible work with young women, teens and tweens, girls who are really being exposed to social emotional learning, sometimes for the first time, and understanding the power that they have as individuals to choose and to learn positive self-talk, to learn about goal setting, to learn about how to be confident young women, how to learn how to deal with triggers of stress, which is true for them. It's also true for us. And so today we're going to have a conversation about that. You may or may not know that the work that we do at Wishbeads is also part of our giving back to teens in need. The paper bead experience with Wishbeads is all about writing your wishes down in detail, rolling them up, gluing them, and creating paper bead bracelets. This experience I've personally delivered to well over 1,000 girls. And again, with the same sort of similar mindset of teaching young people about the power of your intentions and making that space for stopping your busy life and saying, what do I want? What does it look like what does my life look like if I were actually living my wish? And by recording it and wearing that visible reminder on your wrist, you are retraining your mind to focus on what is important to you. And so you can just take tiny steps towards it. So I love it when I meet kindred spirits, such as the amazing Teddy and Sonia, because they're really showing up and supporting teen girls, tween girls in that same way. So without further ado, I hope you enjoy and listen to the conversation that we have, that I'm having today with the Sand Sisters. Okay. Hello, it's Alexa Fischer of the Wishbeads podcast, creator of Wishbeads, and I am absolutely delighted to have Teddy and Sonia Surge. They are the Sand Sisters. They are on a mission to help young girls feel seen and heard and empower them with their Girl Powerful program. I can't even yes, it was a mutual friend who connected us, but one of the things that I love about LA is that there are so many incredible people doing amazing things. And so you're really like one person away from connecting with someone incredible. And so I had the dear, dear pleasure of meeting these incredible women and actually doing some Wishbeads work for a fundraiser. And we've actually got some cool stuff planned ahead. But before we go on, welcome, ladies.
Thank you for having us.
Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. We're actually having a really interesting day here in Southern California. It's raining.
Yes, and thundering.
And thundering. And it's so funny because I grew up on the East Coast, and like weather like this is completely nothing to talk about. But
Right.
here in LA, it's my kids had a camping trip planned for today, and I think all the parents were like, "No, we can't possibly send them out in such terrible weather."
Yeah.
So yeah, it was canceled anyway.
Are you
really?
serious?
Yeah, it was canceled. Now, admittedly, it's near a burn area, so it's okay that if it's thunder and lightning, it's a burn area, but still, it's very LA to be like, we couldn't possibly get wet.
Yeah.
Anyway, so yes, on this cozy rainy day, welcome.
Thank you.
So tell us about your Girl Powerful program and actually how you got started. Your organization is called Sand Sisters. So give us a little backstory on how you kicked this program off.
All right. So Sand Sisters is a youth empowerment nonprofit, and it's designed to give girls the social and emotional learning tools to build a strong sense of self. And Teddy and I, we're real life sisters. And we grew up with a single mom who worked really, really hard, but we were always alone after school. And we really didn't have the opportunity to have, like meaningful either conversations with adults or mentorship with adults from the hours of 3 to 6 or 3 to 7. So we really just built this program based on what we needed when we were younger. And then Teddy became a classroom teacher, and I'll let you say like how Sand Sisters actually came about.
Well, I was working at a school in LA, and everyone knows a teacher needs something to do in the summer. And it was like, over my dead body, I'm staying on campus for those 3 extra months. So I was like, okay, what do I know? I know girls because we grew up, like Sonia said, with a single mom, and we're sisters, and like our aunt would always step in, and our grandma was like our home girl, and that's who raised us as women. So that's who I'm really comfortable around, and I really don't know much about little boys unless I'm in a classroom setting. But I know what girls need because I know what I needed, and so that's where we started meeting at the beach because it was a free space, which I needed because I had no operational budget.
Yeah.
And I love the ocean, and having girls out in nature is like a really special thing. And it was also really special for me to have like a break from like the whole school setting. So Sand Sisters derives from sisterhood on the sand. And for a couple summers, like 5 summers, 2012 to like last summer, more than that, we were on the sand for like 90 days with girls, like 15 girls every single day.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, that's amazing.
That's how it started.
Parents are just like, all right, here's my daughter, bye. And we're like, seriously?
But like kindergarten girls.
Like babies.
Yeah.
Wow.
But it was really special because we'd see like how sisterhood, like you don't really get that unless your parent like is really in tune with it, or like, you're put in a situation where it's all girls, and like, not that there's anything wrong with hanging out with your guy friends, but it really like made a unit, and you really could just share. You could share. And we were all, like just kind of evens the playing field when you're by the ocean and no one's good at water sports. Everyone's a little scared of sharks. Everyone's, like everyone's just kind of the same at the beach.
Yeah.
And I really,
that's interesting.
Yeah. I really
well, there's a humility, I think, by the ocean, because the ocean is actually, nature in general is so much more powerful than you are. So I think there's a very healthy dose of humility that happens there.
Yeah, sure. Exactly. And that's
you really have to respect the ocean for sure.
Because when we go back to school, I'd notice like certain girls were friends all summer, and then they wouldn't talk to each other like in school because of the ego or the, the friend.
So would you follow, so after you would work with them in the summer, is that what sparked the after school program during the school year as well?
Yeah. So we really were with like at least 100 girls like year round.
Wow.
Like in and out of programs like summer camp or after school programs. But after school programs is our future. And that's like we just focused on that, and we'll never do a beach camp again. Sorry. But it's like time to move on.
But the school Teddy was at was really heavy on social and emotional learning, and like bring stuff back from one of the psychologists and be like, this is amazing. And then we, like try to do some of the exercises. And then she's like, Sonia, let's build a 10-week course and like sell it to all the schools. So that's what we did. We developed Girl Powerful, which is a 10-week course. It has a word of the day, a positive word of the day linked to a mantra. So we teach girls about positive self-talk. And then there's 3 self-reflective questions and then a little takeaway at the end so they can start implementing it into their real life.
That's fantastic. That's fantastic. And, as a mom of 2 boys, so I now have an 11-year-old and a 13-year-old boy, obviously social emotional learning is important as human beings, not obviously just for girls.
Right.
No.
And yet I have to tell you, like I grew up going to an all-girls school.
Oh, so
and I think that
the value in that.
Huh?
You know the value in that.
I do. And it was very interesting because I found that you found your voice, you just found a place where automatically you felt even and your voice mattered, your thoughts mattered. And at one point we did have a course that we could take at the brother school, like there was a brother kind of affiliate school. And so I took an 11th grade English course over there. And what was fascinating to me was to watch how the behavior of some of my fellow female students changed in front of the guys.
Oh yeah.
What is happening? So I think that there is a place for all of it. Yeah. But I think that now, I think this idea, especially reaching girls a little bit younger with social emotional learning, fortifies you in a different way. And with that dialogue of like, how do you go back out into the world that are filled with all kinds of people
Right.
and still know who you are and know the value of positive self-talk and focusing your intentions, taking action, all kinds of, good hearty stuff that you need because the world, I mean, probably forever, but I think with the emergence, especially of social media, pressures of the sort of habits that we're getting with finding our connection digitally, which in my opinion will absolutely never, ever replace the real human to human connection. This is something that I'm crazy caring about right now. I think that there's so much need to give people these skills. Girls certainly, but people these skills for sure.
Yeah,
right.
We look at it as a prevention program because we start working with the girls at 8, and it's really important to kind of capture them and really let them know how powerful they are. That's what girl powerful means. It doesn't really mean like to neglect other people. It's like just the powers inside of you. And we just really think that if you could take a program or think about it, like for 10 weeks, someone shows up, talks to you about what you said, like inner dialogue, risk taking, goal setting.
What to do when you have a change, when change in life.
I am mantras. Yeah. Like that's a really good gift we all have now that like it's emerged in the past 5 to 10 years. Not that spirituality wasn't there a long, long time ago. But
it's more accepted. It's more
and social media made it like a thing, which is awesome and it's very powerful. But girls need tools like that because if hopefully at 8 you don't have a phone in your hand yet. You definitely have an iPad or access at home, but you're hopefully not just scrolling on your phone because that's really detrimental to your development and your self-esteem.
Yeah. I had this thought the other day where when cigarettes came out, like whenever they came out, and everyone's like, this is a great idea. It's fun. It's cool. Suddenly we're taking smoke breaks. And it took all these years for people to be like, oh, cigarettes kill you. Oh, this is really bad. And then we have to kind of like fix ourselves. I swear that all of these smartphones that we think this is so great. I'm always connected. I can like run my business from my phone or I can connect with my friends. And we're not really understanding the long-term detriment that it has caused to our minds, to our bodies, to growing up and being able to sort of assess where are you. I think this idea of compare and despair is really a very real thing as it relates to young people and social media. It's tough. I found that middle school was some of the most difficult years of my life. Right. And had I had the pressure of social media and wondering where everybody is and how many likes, and Can you imagine?
I
No.
just
like-
read an article that said 91% of female youth have at least one episode of a mental illness, so like anxiety or depression. They recognize that they have one a month. And that's why like we're in a mental health crisis right now.
A mental health crisis. That's right.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's just,
And
that's
it's
right.
due to the phone. It really is due to the phone.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like what you're saying, like we don't know yet. Like it's like the cigarette that took a minute for someone to have lung
A
cancer.
minute or 40 years.
Yeah. So here we
Yeah.
are. We're like year 10, so we have 30 more.
Yeah, but we were recently at a high school, and because kids can bring their cell phones to school, it was during the day that there was a Santa Clarita shooting. So
Oh,
we were in the wellness center talking to the psychologist about doing an event at their school about stress, turning stress to success. But these girls came in bawling because they had friends at the school. And it's like they knew that happened in the morning because of their cell phone.
right.
So there wasn't anyone guarding them from the news. There wasn't, like there wasn't a barrier to like protect a child from like seeing the graphic stuff or like feeling fear. So like
That's what we realized. We're
yeah.
like for instance, like 9/11 or Columbine that we lived through.
Mm-hmm.
You had like we didn't have access to phones, right? So you had to wait for like the principal to hear about it, and then the teachers, they all met. How are we going to talk to the kids about this? How are we going to make them feel safe? Yeah. Now they're just designing buildings where kids jump into like barricades in the hallway. And yesterday I was at a school in the Palisades, and a teacher wouldn't let me in, and I teach there every week. And they're like, "Are you a mole? Like we can't let you in. I can't let you in. I've never seen you.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm being like tricked right now." And I was like, "No, I'm teaching an after school class." And he's like, "Well, today we're just on high alert because we're doing an active shooter training."
Yeah, it must have been my son. No, my son did an active shooter training. He's in 6th grade yesterday. And my husband and I were asking him about it. And it still does not feel real.
No.
And it does not feel like, and and then we're literally asking him, so what do you do? And then he's talking us through, what do you do? And I said, are there other children visibly upset while this is happening? And he said, yes. Mm-hmm. One in particular, this boy who had like tears in his eyes. And I'm like, I can't even, like, as a parent, you of course you know it, but then you have to like push some of the stuff away from you psychically. But there I was, and I have a good day at school,
right.
Good luck at school. And you can't in this day and age say, oh, it's not going to happen to my kid. Well, I live very close to Santa Monica College. We had a mass shooting here. Yeah. Was it like 4 years ago?
Yeah.
I mean, like just up the street. And the boy who did it, he was the son of a woman who works at one of our local restaurants who I've known for 15 years. And you're just like, so, okay, let's dial that back. We're going to take it down. Everybody listening. It's about wishing and about manifesting.
The good stuff.
But I'll tell you, and why I think this is so important for both, the work that you're doing, the work that Wishbeads is about. Because I always say, maybe I say it more on the podcast, is that this is so, Wishbeads it's an empowerment tool disguised as jewelry. But this idea that we have to awaken people, young people, older people, that their ability, that they are responsible for their happiness, for their well-being, for their mental health, for the thoughts that they think, is that we have to disconnect from this idea that we are powerless over a smartphone or we're powerless over social media. Is that by claiming, what do you want? What is your wish? And then you step back and you say, what can I do to make that happen? Or what can I do in this Girl Powerful program that identifies, where am I losing my energy? Where am I sabotaging myself? Where am I getting in my own way? And then what can I do to shift? Yeah. I don't have to become a different person. I don't have to get rid of all of my friends, but people have to learn that their happiness is their responsibility.
And take
their
action.
Responsibility.
Take action.
And now we live in a society where like marijuana is being legalized and this is okay and that's okay. It's not okay. It's not okay for your mind, because there are activities that we are doing, like scrolling on our phones or smoking this or drinking that. And you have to take some ownership of what's working for you and what's not working for you.
Yeah.
But you can't have both. You can't do the things that are dragging you down and then be upset about it and feel like you're powerless to it.
And then complain about it, right?
You can't.
Yeah.
Because we created this as a society. We created this thing. It's a reflection of our consciousness in a way. So we need to take it back. And if that means unplugging and taking your family out in nature, or taking yourself out in nature, or challenging yourself to leave your phone home for a day, like a whole day.
It will
Imagine.
take a little time to like if I left my phone at home, you'd think I should go get that. But it's like, why? Nothing's going to happen.
Right. Nothing really will happen. Like, you know what your schedule is, show up and do your thing, but it's okay if you just even drive for 2 hours, no phone, you'll be fine.
Yeah.
And I would be loath to think that we are so dependent on these silly little devices that are listening to us all the time, that then we start to really lose our connection to our own power. And that's what we have as humans. We're not artificial intelligence. We're the real deal, full of magic and wonder.
That's why we're attracted to people like you, because like your vibe attracts your tribe, your namaste, your light and light. Like, it's very important to like find those people and like keep them close and support one another.
Yeah. And I also think, here and I mean, I actively like seek to collaborate and to meet and to learn from people that I'm naturally drawn to. But I also teach, because I'm still teaching people through my online courses. I connect with people all over the world. And many of these confessional emails come to me that they're like, I have nobody to talk to. I'm a total loner. Nobody relates to me. And I have to say, growing up, I felt like an outsider in many ways. On the outside, I was connecting with people and I looked like I had a lot of friends and all this, but there was something that I was like, I just can't, like, where are my people? And I would secretly read like Carlos Castaneda books. And I was searching, I was seeking. So to those people who are listening, to you, if you are listening out there in the interwebs, if you can't find your people, and if your people for right now, based on your location, maybe you can't find them actually in your neighborhood, in your world, at events that you go to, find them in community online, like actively seek them. And, sometimes it's as not just on the web, but like I take karate classes. I'm doing a songwriting workshop. I just signed up for a ceramics class. I have no idea who I'm going to meet, but I feel like if you lean into what genuinely interests you, you'll meet people that you will connect with. And they don't have to be your age, your sex, they just people. But I think we forget that. We stay in our own narrative of like, nobody gets me.
But that's the thing that we teach the girls is inner dialogue. And a lot of times, we're conditioned to have negative dialogue, to beat ourselves up. And it takes us, the power within us to be like realize what a limiting belief is. And then just to be like, literally, when you say it to yourself, you say stop. Or like you say it out loud and you catch yourself and then you turn it into a positive. And then everything changes. It's like the world changes and like how people view you and how you like present yourself to other people. So different.
Yeah. Can I share a story with you? Just my own little confessional story that's along these lines. So everybody has sort of likes, dislikes. They have areas that what I call strengths. And I learned this from my kids' school, strengths and stretches. Stretch areas are things that you're not really great at, but they go stretch areas. So in my own life, I don't really like to cook. I don't prioritize it. I'm a super busy lady. I value my time. I love the work that I do. I love my kids. I also value things like taking karate. And so when it comes time to dinner, neither my husband or I really enjoy this experience. But we have to eat, right? It happens all the time.
Yeah.
It comes every night. Our children are like, please, oh please, can someone learn how to cook in this family? So I took a class I took a class of a woman that I know and love was teaching this, like, you can make simple meals, healthy meals, class. So I took this class, and admittedly, I didn't put a lot of energy into it. Why? Because I didn't naturally enjoy the experience. But I had this concept. I'm going to get better. I'm going to get better at this. Anyway, there's a recipe that she shared, and I was like, I'm going to do this recipe. But I didn't really prepare. I didn't really have all the ingredients. And when it came time to cook, I had this concept of what I wanted, didn't really do the work to make sure I had all the ingredients. Then I kind of freak out. Then I kind of send my husband out. The kids sense this like tension. I make this meal, which really didn't taste very good. And it was full of ingredients that my kids didn't really like fennel. And I got so frustrated, and I watched my negative thoughts. And man, oh man, once my ego or whatever hooked onto this thing, like, see, you shouldn't have done it. You're a terrible cook. You're not even a good mom because you can't even feed your kids right. And now, I was like, like bad. And I just thought to myself, what is going on? Like, I'm not a bad person, certainly not a bad mom. I may not be a great cook, but I know that if I actually put my energy, my good energy, to learning a recipe and taking the time, this is the real important thing, actually taking the time that it takes, it would be awesome. But somehow we sabotage ourselves with this negative talk that kind of like puts us in these no-win situations where you kind of set yourself up for failure. And then if you do that enough, you think that that's who you are. That's not who you are. I'm not like born a bad cook. I don't prioritize it. Yeah. And if I put some energy to it, loving energy and guidance, I'd be a great cook. And it's okay. I don't have to be the world's best cook right now. My kids might argue with that. But
are you prioritizing it, or it's like you have so much more going on in your life, you really don't need to be a good cook, right?
Right. I mean, there's other solutions, but what's interesting is how quickly that ego wants to make that dialogue turn vicious inwardly.
We hear a lot of that because we also have a women's circle called Self-Love Club. And when we talk about limiting beliefs, it's always like shoulda, coulda, woulda. I've been trying to do this for 12 years. I'm like, what is holding you back? And it's that inner dialogue.
It's the inner dialogue.
They're not worthy. They're not good enough. They don't have time. They don't have enough money. They're ugly. They're this, they're that. Yeah. And it's really, really sad to sit and watch. Like, I mean, I'm guilty of it too. I'm a human, but we work on it every single day.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that because you can give those lessons to young people, well, and it sounds like in adults as well, because it's a never-ending cycle. And by even just sharing even this story, people can go, oh, great, I'm just having a really beautiful human moment, and I can course correct here. And I think that's sort of the humility of course correction is a really powerful tool in and of itself. Whether you say something you regret, then apologize. Or if you do something mean to yourself, own it and do something loving to yourself, just change that dialogue. But this personal common sense accountability it's certainly what Wishbeads is about. And I think it's what we can do as women to have a more honest dialogue about where we are, how we can support one another, and move through in a much gentler pace. And that is not the story. It feels like that people promote on social media and things like that.
Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head by saying be gentle with yourself. And I do think that gets even harder as you become a mother, because I go to a lot of women's circles and there's a lot of mothers there, and I'm not a mom yet, but man, you guys are hard on yourselves just about those things like the cooking. And like that's one time I was like, can everyone just be nice to themselves? You're doing the best you can, and your husband doesn't care. And your kids think, your mom, it's always going to be an eye roll, right?
Yeah.
That's just a relationship, but they love you and they will forever, and you're doing your best.
Yeah. And I think the care, it's also a crazy thing. Like nobody really can prepare you for being a parent.
No.
And it is, and I really, my kids they're great kids. So there's nothing like they're happy, healthy, really well-rounded kids. And yet, it's a lot, not gonna lie. And I think because you are in a position of giving, so you're giving in a family setting, you're giving in a relationship, you're likely giving in a work scenario, you're just giving and giving and giving. The thing that that often gets
That makes
shortchanged.
me tired thinking about it.
It just is, it just is what it is. And it is a phase of life. It is literally the phase of life. I find it actually much easier now that my kids are older, but when they were teeny tiny, I was like, what is happening? It was full on.
The life out of you.
Oh yeah, no, literally. And yeah, literally. But I think that what gives then is what you end up not having time for is time for yourself to refuel so that you can connect to who you are. You can just kind of like fill up the well so you actually have more to give. And I think that probably is why Wishbeads is part of my mission, is that, people often ask me, can I wish for somebody else? And to that I say, no, this is your
I like
wish.
that you say that.
Yeah, this is for you.
Mm-hmm.
Because no matter, of course we want things for our kids and our loved ones, and someone's going through a tough time. Absolutely. Put them in your prayers, your thoughts, support them. But my gosh, stop and say, what do I want? Yeah. Because when you're in that place where you're just moving and grooving, it gives back like 1,000-fold to everybody around you.
Yeah, we see that. We do mother-daughter workshops also. We're busy, I guess.
You're so busy.
Out loud. But that is the thing. Like, we do a lot of, list 5 things that you feel confident doing. And everyone starts with, I'm a good mom. I'm a good this. I'm a good, wife. But we're like, but who are you? Like, who are you? And, it is hard. Yeah. It is hard. You get lost. You get lost in motherhood and life in general. But
but when you reclaim it, and again, it goes back to saying, I have a choice. Right? Nobody is doing this to me. This is my choice. Mm-hmm. I get to decide. And when you give yourself that power, and I think maybe people are intimidated by, oh, really? I'm living the life that I created. So nothing's happening to me. Mm-hmm. I'm, showing up, and what shows up, even the challenges, because the challenges are actually the best teachers in the world. Those challenges, those moments where it does feel uncomfortable and unfair, those situations, those scenarios are your invitation to rise to the occasion, to grow, to learn, to push yourself. And if I'd be maybe perfectly honest, the sneaky thoughts for me in my own journey, even as an entrepreneur, is this incessant but I could be doing better, but I could be doing better. And I recently, last couple of months, started working with a consultant in my business, because my business, although growing really fast, it's still a very lean team. And by lean team, I mean mostly me. And so he was kind of looking at my business, and he was like, you're doing awesome. And yet the louder voice in my head is like, yeah, but I could be doing, here's where I'm not doing well, this and this and this and this, and I could be doing this and I could be doing that. And I had to step back and say, what am I doing? Is this real? Or is this that sort of inner critic? Just, it's like, it's never going to end. Like, it's never going to be enough. Mm-hmm. Right? What is that? And is it constructive criticism, or is it just incessant nagging? And I think that's a sort of constant dialogue. And that could be the same with motherhood. It could be the same with relationships. It could be the same with anything, your appearance, weight, health, whatever. It's like, what really, it's an inner commitment to really siphon out those voices, filter those voices, and say, what is helping me? Is this helping me, or this is just dragging me down?
Yeah. And perspective too. That reminds me, when I first started Sand Sisters, and we were sending out Grow Powerful to all the principals and head of schools. And we got in 3 schools the first semester. And our friend from Kansas City, Adam, was like, oh, how many schools are you? And he was like so proud of us for developing this whole thing by ourselves, Yeah. And I was like, I'm only in 3 schools. And he was like, Sonia, stop. He's like, you're in 3 schools. Like, this is the first semester. So it helped me switch my perspective of being like, oh, I'm not good enough. I only got 3 schools versus,
exactly.
Hey, I've never been in these 3 schools before. This is amazing.
Yeah.
Got 3 yeses.
Yeah. So really unpacking that idea of not good enough, whether it's for women, moms, daughters, young women, this idea I think is really at the core of a lot of things. And it's a theme. It just is a theme. It just is a theme.
And gratitude. I think that's
Mm.
like the healing in all of this, right? Is like if all of us before our feet hit the floor in the morning, say like a couple nice things about our beautiful lives. Like, I'm glad I'm breathing. Like, simple. I'm glad I have clean water. It doesn't have to be like I'm a CEO and I have a Range Rover and I have all this stuff.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Like the simple things, like my kids hug me in the morning. I have a cool dog, like whatever.
So let's do this. Let's do this right now for everybody listening. I think we should do a little moment here and name 3 things we're grateful for, like for reals.
Okay.
And then just let people do that same experience. Cause you nailed it. It's just so simple. We think it's some big thing, and the magic is inside of you. I say this about Wishbeads. Wishbeads aren't magic. You're magic. And when we start doing the teeniest little shifts, things that I invite in the Wishwork and you invite in your awesome programming and your journals and the curriculum that you offer people, these little shifts are the game-changing things. So what are 3 things that you both are grateful for today?
You can go.
Well, I mean, it is gratitude season. I don't know when this is airing, but it's Thanksgiving.
It's always gratitude
It's always
season.
It's always gratitude season.
But that used to really bother me at the dinner table. It made me like irk for some reason because it was so forced. But now I'm excited for this year to share, so I will. I am grateful for my sister. I am grateful for, my health. I think that's like the number one always. And I'm grateful for abundance in lots of things, like finances, love between friends. Like, I don't even have a boyfriend and I'm very comfortable like that right now. It's just like, I'm just happy being me. I'm grateful for myself.
Yay! That's beautiful. Beautiful.
All right. I am grateful for the power of healing, which I've healed my body myself. And then our mom she was sick and she just was healed. So we're like,
wow,
everything. So the power of healing, I'm very grateful for our community in Los Angeles because everyone's, it's just a really cool place, a melting pot of cool people. And I'm grateful for my green bike that is right in front of me that takes me places and makes me happy.
Oh my gosh, so wonderful. I love that. I am grateful today for the rain because we had just been watching our earth be scorched by fire here in California in particular. Now we need some rain to go to Australia. But I'm grateful for the rain and the nourishment and the smell and the sounds for that. I am really, really grateful for love and support in all forms. I find that this energy of love and support is the thing that has fueled me, is like the secret sauce behind everything, whether it's family or business or friendship or whatever. It's just such a powerful force for good. And I am grateful for the journey. I have to say the journey. As someone in that little voice who's always looking for metrics of success, when I really pause that voice and I say, actually it has nothing to do with any marker of success. It has to do with how grateful I am to be able to play in this playground and create. And so that means that every day is a total out of the ballpark awesomeness.
Right? It is.
Because it's all been this wild ride of ups and downs and people and surprises and learning, so much learning, and I just feel grateful that I get to be on the ride.
Yeah,
Yay.
I agree.
So I hope everybody listening or watching, when you hit this little podcast, hit that little button off, just do the same thing, just take a moment and really breathe in and think about 3 little things. And it could be like a warm cup of tea, Nothing else simple. A little
And then
gratitude.
to see like everyone over here smiling and like has tears in their eyes. It makes you feel good.
Yeah.
Life's about feeling good.
Yeah, just feeling good. It's reaching for that choice at any time and knowing that it's available to you, even if it's just a little bit better than you feel right now. Just a little bit. If that's what you can do, just a little something.
That's what we like to say. We're always like, shoot for a B. Like this whole like be on the dean's list, like go get a free ride to college. Like who's doing that to these kids and ourselves, you know?
Yeah,
It's
shoot
like,
for a B.
B and you are cooler than average. Like you got this. And just push send. Like why are you being like micromanaging yourself and your thoughts?
Totally.
Let the good times roll, people.
Oh my gosh, I love it. Well, tell our listeners, viewers, where they can find you, a little bit more about what's coming up next. Tell me about the Girl Powerful Journal.
So the Girl Powerful Journal is our curriculum, and it's available nationwide. So if you have a special person in your life, it's for tweens and teen girls. But really anyone can do this. It's available at sandsistersla.org. And all proceeds go back to our nonprofit.
And
that's fantastic.
Yeah, 100% just goes back into our programming.
So the curriculum itself, it can be self-guided. So if somebody buys the journal, fantastic.
Self-guided. And then for every class we teach that is a paid class, we go into federal housing areas in Los Angeles and in rural areas of Missouri and Texas. And we teach girls at zero cost to them, their school or their family.
Incredible. So it's a 1-for-1.
It is. It's Tom's with books.
Tom's with journals and learning. I love it.
Tom's with feelings.
Oh, Tom's with feelings. Well, that's fantastic. And I'm going to have all the links to your organization. I'll do a link to the journal and maybe even some contact information if people have ideas. They want to find out about getting a Girl Powerful after school program in their school or connected with a local nonprofit. You can find out about the amazing Sand Sisters organization. They're not, I actually thought when I met you that your last name was Sand, but I think now I've got the clarity, which is so good. But I'm just so honored to know you both. It's really fun. And I have no doubt that we will continue to collaborate and support one another and play in this wonderful entrepreneurial mecca called Los Angeles. It's more than just the entertainment industry, although that's what I used to do.
Well, thank you so much for having us.
Thank
You're
you.
just like the bright light.
I'm thrilled. I'm thrilled. All right, friends, you know what to do. Go and be grateful. Go and connect teens that you know or tweens that you know who may be interested in this curriculum. Get the journal, support their programs, and shine on.
Yes.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.